term of politics is ordinarily used to designate different kinds of leadership, administration and authority. We often hear about the policy of a president, government, corporation and company, educational institution. The need for self-control of any social structure became the fundamental basis for any political activity.
News, sports, politics, religion, health, entertainment. This is Expression House with Kacha.
Hello, welcome to Expression House TV. Now, the fact remains that Professor Georgewill still remains one of the most outstanding leaders in the University of Port Harcourt. Professor Georgewill is a professor in the University of Port Harcourt. It's good to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. In specific terms, can you tell us what the University of Port Harcourt has to offer the society in terms of academic performance?
The University of Port Harcourt was established by the federal government, just like other universities, and they have core mandates. The core mandates of universities like the University of Port Harcourt are three. One, teaching and learning. Two, research. And three, community service. Teaching and learning and research are geared towards producing graduates that are employable, graduates that will tomorrow contribute to the development of the society. Research is aimed at finding solutions to local or national problems. Then community service is key because don't forget, universities are situated in communities. We have host communities. Every university has its own host community, depending on where it is situated. And therefore, the university must, in its task, we also be able to do things that will help in the development of the host communities. It could be by way of education, it could be by many things that are enshrined that they can do to make the host communities feel okay that the university is situated where they live.
Okay, now you made a comment about communities also engaged into the university.
Yeah.
Now, how does the university development program inspires philanthropists to invest not only in the university but the wider communities of the University of Port Harcourt?
Very, very good question. Now, you know, the universities are out there for service. They are for service to humanity. And so, in the line of duty, funds are required. Funds are required. If you want to carry out research, good research requires money. Good research requires good equipment. Good research means people will go out. And so philanthropists have a key role to play. They can endow chairs. They can bring money to the university to enable the universities carry out activities not only for students but even for the communities in which the universities find themselves. Funding is key. All universities in Nigeria still need funding to develop infrastructure, to develop facilities, to develop things they require to meet optimal these services they provide.
How was the experience, when you applied new technology or information in the University of Port Harcourt as a professor, and how did it help the school?
Mainly, there are newer ways, technological ways, how lectures could be delivered, how students could be reached, how researches can be carried out. All right? Now, but don't forget, some of this technology, new technology you are talking about, one, they're expensive, you need money. Two, you also need the internet. If you really want to do distant learning, which is key now, distant learning, people can stay in America and learn from the University of Port Harcourt and so on. You need some facilities. For example, your internet system must be very good, but I know that the internet system now currently is not as good as the way you want it in terms of how you can deliver these services. Okay, so there is room for improvement in the sense that more funding is required to put this system, the technologies that we require to be able to reach people, not just only within the university but even outside the university. We still need some way to go. And another portion again is power. You also need power, right? For you to have an innovative learning system that requires electricity, you also need to have power. So these are some of the challenges we still have as a developing nation.
How do you apply the act of discipline and integrity among students as a professor?
Well, discipline starts from you. Starts from the lecturer. Starts from the one who wants to ensure discipline is maintained. When you are disciplined in your conduct, people are looking at you. It's easier to make them to be disciplined. But if you are not disciplined, it's very difficult to get people to be disciplined.
What do you consider to be the main challenges facing the University of Port Harcourt, and how do you think these issues should be handled?
These challenges could include issues of funding to the universities to enable them carry out their constitutional mandate, these core mandates. All right, issue of power or electricity in the universities is another key issue. All right, issues of discipline is also part of the issues that we have. People must learn to do things the right way, right? And then leadership is another challenge in the universities. We must have the right kind of leadership, the right kind of leaders to take our university to the next level. We also have issues of security challenges. Some universities, students trying to join cultism and so on. It's also a challenge to the university. The universities in Nigeria, Uniport not excluded, also have issues of industrial disharmony sometimes between unions and government, or between unions and then the management of the university, and this takes a lot of toll on the educational system, such that calendars we run most times are disrupted. And then probably when we come back, we try to readjust our calendars, and before you know it, things are not exactly done how they should be. So these are some of the issues bedeviling the university system in Nigeria.
How should educational competency be measured in today's society?
There are different ways to measure competence, all right? We can use examinations, but there are different ways to examine students, all right? We have examinations that you write, we have examinations that orally you talk with people, but most importantly, continuous assessment is key, because examination tests the students at the end of a specific period. But continuous assessments allow you to know how these students are performing, all right, over the period, not just one-time examination. And that's why in my university here in University of Port Harcourt, continuous assessment is taken as a very serious business. You must assess students regularly so that it will also enable you to know those students that are weak and to see how it could be done to make them get to know what they are being taught better before examinations will assess the overall output from them.
Okay, now let's move into development in River State now.
Yeah.
Development involves changes in the economic, social, environmental and cultural dimensions. Now, how should effort be made to facilitate or promote balanced development in River State?
For me, is to get the right kind of leadership. When you get the right kind of leadership, things will fall in place. At all times, leaders should put more effort in what they are doing. I'll give you an example. Now you see, United Arab Emirates, all right? The people there, they are satisfied with their governance. If you go, you find out they are satisfied. Despite the fact that it's a kind of leadership that's where you have a kind of hereditary, all right? People giving on to others, kings, and so on. But the people are not complaining because the oil money is being made available to build a society where the citizens are happy, the citizens are satisfied,
And they are benefiting.
and they are benefiting. So it does not matter to them the kind of governance, whether it's democracy, whether it's by kingship, whether it doesn't matter to them, because they are seeing the proceeds of that oil industry in their everyday life, and so they are satisfied. And so if the king dies and his sons take over, It doesn't matter to them. Because as far as they're concerned, they are happy with themselves. Governance is putting food on their table. Irrespective of the form of governance, if our leaders make food available on the table of the citizenry will be satisfied and they'll be happy. I'll give you an example again. Egypt today has a higher growth rate of almost about 8%, economic growth rate, almost about 8%. All right? And that is more than even Nigeria. The current values for Nigeria, even in 2018, is about 7.4%. But what does Egypt have? Egypt have the Nile and the dam. But they have built the spirit of entrepreneurship such that their economy is growing fast. Nigeria, we have petroleum resources. Nigeria is a state in progress.
Development in a rural sense connotes the fact that citizens of the country have access to employment opportunities and basic services. Now, how should the government provide these opportunities?
Even in developed countries, government alone cannot provide employment for the citizenry. Government alone cannot. Government here means federal, state, and local government. There is need for non-state actor participation. In fact, if you go to most of the developed countries, more jobs are created in the private sectors than in the government sector. If you walk the streets of London, most of the jobs you see people doing in offices and all, they are private sector based jobs. We need to begin to imbibe the spirit of entrepreneurship in Nigerians so that we don't see only white collar jobs as jobs. Because the mentality we have here, if they ask you where do you work, if you don't say I work in the secretariat or I work in the University of Port Harcourt, but once you say, oh, I have my shop there or I have my business, it's like you have not gained work. It's like you are still unemployed. We must change this mentality so that people will know that work means your ability to fit in into the productive segment of society and produce goods and services and get a pay and earn a living. Thank you.
Right now, as a professor, what has been your experience so far in the University of Port Harcourt?
Fantastic experience. I started with the University of Port Harcourt about 25 years ago. I became a professor in the year 2010. The year 2010. Now I'm 9 years as a professor. I passed through all the ranks: lecturer 2, lecturer 1, senior lecturer, and then professor. It's been a fantastic time. I have contributed so much, all right, with God's grace, in various capacities of the universities, in teaching, in research, in administrative capacity. I've also served at various levels of government. I've served at the local government level as an advisor. I've served at the state government. I was once a commissioner in the Commission of Inquiry. I've served at the national level. I was once an advisor on technical committee to Senate Committee on Education at the Senate. So I've also served the Ministry of Education by interviewing candidates for Commonwealth Scholarship and so on. So I've had quite a lot of experience in these 25 years of being in a service as a lecturer. And I've contributed greatly to production of quality graduates, quality researches that have been tested. I'll give you an example of my research. The people of Asito Boran in Bayelsa State, at a time there was oil spillage. My mentor, who is late now, Professor Wankwala, and I were contacted. We took oil spill from the spillage site and we ran a lot of laboratory investigations, and we came up with a compendium of the toxicology of crude oil. And that enabled that community to petition the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to claim damages on what the spilled crude oil did to them, their lives, their vegetation, the animals, the fishes, everything in their community.
Let's move on into the Honorable Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Michi Michi.
My leader.
Yeah, how would you describe his leadership?
It's my leader.
Okay.
I used to describe him as a man ahead of his time. I love him. I love him, and I have no regrets following him. Because he listens. When there are issues, he gives a listening ear. He makes decisions, but most of the decisions, as far as I know, are collective decisions. Because he listens to people. Politically, he's a genius. His followership is wide.
Wow.
Cut across everywhere.
Okay.
Not only South, everywhere. People love him. He has a strong will spirit, you know. And some people tend not to be comfortable with that. But I think as a good leader, you should have a strong will spirit. That's what will make you to do something for your followers. That's what will make you to do something for society. That's what will make you to do something that prosperity will always remember you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prof.
God bless you.
News, sports, politics, religion, health, entertainment. This is Expression House with Kacha.
We've come to the end of today's episode on Expression House TV. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.